How's it going? I thought I would open up the video a little differently this time and look a little bit different than I usually do. Usually I'm wearing a hat, and I don't usually have piercings on or anything like that. But I'm different. I look different. But why? Well, for the purpose of this video. So what is masculine? So it's basically any kind of characteristics or qualities of a man. It's kind of a vague definition, but do you see most men wear this? Do you see men wear jewelry like this? Well, it depends on where you're from. So if you live out in the rural community, all this is considered feminine. But if you lived in New York City, it really wouldn't be a thing. So it's just a lot different where you're at. But what about the gay community? What about the gay community? That's a whole different ball of wax. Let me get changed and get out of this because I don't think this is not necessarily quite me, at least the piercing part. So give me a second. This is scene change. Not going to talk about it. Long story. And I do apologize. I'm actually kind of sick today, so I'm not 100% there with you guys. So the question is, am I masculine? Yes, I identify as masculine. I feel like I'm definitely more masculine. I don't need validation for that, but 100% of the guys I've ever dated or met that were gay has said, "Oh my gosh, you're a guy's guy. You're a masculine. You're the dream. You're the standard. You're the blah blah blah." So yeah, that I mean, yeah, that's not to say that I'm 100% masculine. I mean, every one of us has definitely qualities that are not, that is not correlated to our gender, so to speak. I'm a guy and I'm masculine, but that doesn't mean I'm 100% masculine. I mean, there's things about me that are feminine, I'm sure, that, depending on where you live too, because you got to remember, if you grew up in, a rural community, the masculine bar is much higher than it is in New York City. So what's it like being masculine and gay or bi or whatever? It certainly has its perks and it certainly has its disadvantages. So we'll start with the perks. The obvious perk is the dating scene is a lot more easier than it would be for more of a feminine gay man, simply because you are desired, because you are masculine or quote straight acting, which is not, don't use straight acting. Do not use straight acting. Okay. Don't use that word. It's not correct. I'm not pretending to be a heterosexual guy. I'm not acting. I'm not pretending. Being masculine, you definitely are in the top tier. You're definitely more desired. But at the same time, you're also stereotyped as a top. Even though I'm mostly top and I would like to be versatile and stuff and all that stuff. I did a whole video on that. Just because you're masculine does not make you a top. Just because you're feminine doesn't make you a bottom. So that does come along with those cons right there. But going back to another perk is you are accepted way more in the straight community, particularly straight men. I'd say more so straight men, because simply commonalities and stuff like that. And unlike a more feminine gay man, they can still have definite straight friends. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's a little more difficult to get in the crowd, so to speak, because of commonalities. And some people are just like very uncomfortable around different mannerisms, such as more flamboyant mannerisms and things like that. Particularly more in the rural areas as opposed to cities. Cities are more exposed to different stuff. So going along those lines, but the disadvantages for a gay masculine guy, especially me, would be not able to fit in the crowd in the gay community. There's not many. There's seats at the tables that they're very accepting and great people, but it's the seat I want to pick. I want to fit in more with my crowd, and I can't seem to always find it. And sometimes it's not there. And I'm fine, talking to other feminine guys, and I don't have a problem with it, but it just that commonality, and that kind of creates distance. Another perk is people see you, the society sees you as, oh, you're just an average guy, you're straight. They're not gonna use anything against you. But the disadvantage is because you're seen that way, how does anyone know that you're going to be gay? Gay men will see over you. They'll see you as just another straight guy. But when they find out about me, totally different. The cards are totally different. They act different around me and all that kind of stuff. Because they simply didn't know. They just assumed based on my mannerisms and the way I sound, the way I act, I'm therefore, you're one of the guys, you're straight. So I just talked about this in one of the cons just a few minutes ago. about not fitting in the gay community. And I can't help and stress how that is a huge wedge and huge driver for masculine gay men. And, there are masculine gay men that are phobic with, femphobic. They don't feel comfortable around other feminine gay men. That does exist. I know it is because they were not exposed much to the culture, or they just don't relate to it as well. And it makes them feel uncomfortable. Just as probably a feminine gay guy, being around some masculine gay guys will probably make them feel a little uncomfortable too. So there is that wedge. And I know that, the gay community preaches diversity and inclusion. I think it's got some work to do, especially with masculine gay men. I think because, they're masculine, they're the majority. They fit more in with the majority of heteros, or, the heterosexual community. It still doesn't mean they're not going to struggle. So I'm going to ask myself a brutal question. If I had the choice to be feminine, would I want it? No. Flat out no. Well, why not? I mean, aren't you accepting of other people? I'm accepting of feminine gay guys completely, and I can be friends. I just might have trouble connecting and socializing, finding that seat at that table, like I mentioned. But I don't want to be it. I'm perfectly happy, being masculine and being myself. I'm not putting on a act. I'm not straight acting. I'm not putting on a fantasy here. This is just generally who I am. As I've gotten older, I feel like I've gotten a lot more masculine. When I was younger, I was definitely masculine, but I wasn't as masculine. But I feel like younger men in general are more or less masculine. And as they get older, a lot of men are just more masculine. That's just my opinion. But I would never change who I am. I'm perfectly happy who I am. I'm sure there are feminine gay guys that are perfectly happy being feminine. They would never want to be masculine if they had the choice. But at the same time, there probably is feminine gay guys that would want a masculine voice and other masculine characteristics because, they want to fit in society. They want to be accepted. And here's one thing I wanted to talk about is masculine gay men are often seen as objects, and we're not objects. Okay. Let me explain. So the wonderful world of pornography, they pay straight guys to hook up with other straight guys. And I believe they're 100% straight. I just think they're doing it just to make money. They're good looking. They got great bods, and they're masculine. A lot of them are masculine. So that paints this awful fantasy in a lot of gay men's minds that are watching. And then they want to go out and seek that. So when I have went on some dates with, I guess, more feminine men, it doesn't matter. I guess you call them more feminine. They're obsessed with this concept of dating this masculine guy, and that's great. It's not actually great because it makes me feel less. It makes me feel like I'm just some fantasy in their porn or whatever like that. And, I'm not afraid to say, hey, I have some feminine things about me and masculine things. I embrace the feminine things about me, and I think that's what makes me me. I don't want to be I don't want to force myself to be ultra masculine. Like I used to do that, by the way. I used to force myself to do ultra masculine things, but I realized it wasn't me. I'm just a normal guy. I'm not this ultra masculine guy. But going back, I'm digressing. So I think that when they meet me and I start telling them more feminine stuff, they're like, oh. And I think, people judge people for how they act. They think masculine, therefore truck. It's not the most well-constructed video I've done, but I just want to put it out there and actually speak heart to heart with the gay community as far as more of the masculine side. And you don't really hear much masculine voices on YouTube. You kind of hear more queer voices, which is absolutely wonderful and great. And feminine, gay men or non-binary gay people. Can non-binary and gay be? I don't know if that even exists, because if you're not conforming to gender, what is your sexual orientation? I don't know. Biologically. So if you're biologically male, you're okay. I'm getting complicated. This is why I don't do good in the gay community. It's too many things going on. I digress. I just again, thank you guys for watching. If you want to hear more of these, I guess, slightly controversial videos and stuff like that, and feel free to subscribe and click the bell. Meanwhile, speaking of bell, I'm off to Taco Bell after this. All right, I'm off. All right, bye guys.